He said, if you can't win, wreck someone who can.
Exactly.
And I knew I wasn't winning that.
Why do people not get out of the fast lane?
Every time I see that picture of you riding around with that big-ass fro you're wearing, I still get pissed.
It was that night I said preparate, but I didn't say what I wasn't supposed to say, and that's A1.
Hey everybody, welcome to Real Talk 447. I'm Jeff Emig. I'm coming to you from the Fox Racing Studios at Fox headquarters in Irvine, California. And my guy here, Ricky Carmichael, he's of course at home in Tallahassee. How's it going, Ricky?
Man, well, I'm glad to be talking to you. Glad to be home. I had a great time in Cali. Really good time, great productive meetings, and got to hang out with you, and ready to go, man.
Dude, you pack so much into your trips when you come here to California. It's like you get pulled every direction, but I did see you hit the golf course, had a couple of good free dinners stuck in there, and a little bit of work too.
Yeah, it was. We had a great time. Went for my buddy Tom's birthday, so that was my little present to him. One of my best friends, other than you. It was a good time, man.
Hey, have you done any cameos lately?
Well, I just checked it this morning, dude. I'm dried up. How about you? You've been taking care of any? I'm actually bummed.
I wonder if people even know what cameo is, though.
Well, your price is probably too high, if I'm guessing.
$47 for a personalized shout-out. That's too high? What's yours set at right now? What are you doing?
I think I went up to 65. I was 50.
Ooh, I like it.
I went up to I just did a little increase, so just to see if it would either scare people away or what.
Maybe you scared off the customers.
Well, it's really cool because, I've seen some companies and stuff are like paying for these people to do shout outs at their opening statements for sales meetings or whatever it might be. I think that's a pretty cool concept what Cameo's been able to do, and it seems like a lot of the celebs and some athletes are embracing it, and people in the business world are embracing it and willing to do it, and it's relatively cheap, so yeah. I think it's pretty cool.
Well,
I think it's cool.
I mean, for those of you that don't know what Cameo.com is, there's a Cameo app. It's basically, you can go on there, pick someone in the talent pool, which is thousands and thousands of people, from YouTubers to celebrities to singers to athletes to knuckleheads. I mean, I had Ron Jeremy do a shout out for my best buddy Tony and his wife Christina on their anniversary. It was amazing. He was awesome. It was the best one that I've ever purchased. So basically, you go on, like, I set my price at $47. Ricky now bumped his up to $65, and then just, hey, I think you get 250 characters to say, hey, it's my brother's birthday, or da-da-da-da-da, and give him a shout out. So it's shout out doesn't seem like the proper terminology, but that's kind of where we're going with it.
Oh, it's a personal shout out, dude. The coolest one I saw, I was just kind of scrolling through there. Flavor Flav, dude, he is so good. So good. So I met that guy at the Zoomies 100K. It was for Fox, and we were in Colorado skiing, and he was there at the Zoomies 100K, and he is just the same way in real life as he is.
Just who he is, right?
I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, yeah,
Ricky. You know what time it is.
But it's cool. So go on there and check it out. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, Cameo.com. And for full disclosure here, I referred Ricky, so I get 5% of his take, actually. So
that's right.
Make sure if you're not going to purchase, if you don't want one from me, make sure you get it from Carmichael, so I get my $3.
You're $3.75 a day. Hey, a little bit at a time, brother.
A little bit. Well, you know what I've done with mine though is, I've made a few $100, I don't know, $600-700 or something off it, but I just use it for all of the, charity stuff that I do.
Yeah.
So like when I go to Road to Recovery event, and I bought this really cool painting for the Mickey Diamond Fund, and it was $250, so I just used that money from that. So
that's cool. That's cool.
And it's a great way to connect with the fans and the people. So check it out if you're into it.
Yeah.
Hey, So Rocky Mountain ATV MC has another great discount for all of you listeners and viewers. We're going to let you know about that a little bit later on, and especially if you're a self-mechanic, like if you have to work on your own bikes, where Ricky and I really don't have to. You don't work on your bike much, do you?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't do like full like clean over and stuff like that all the time. Like
you just wash it with the slick stuff?
I wash it, and then I just let my dad do the rest, filter and stuff. However, when like if I go to ride tomorrow, I do my chain and just make sure all the nuts and bolts and everything are tight and give it the once over. But most of the time I'll just clean it, and they'll say, all right, Dad, fill it up and do the filter, make sure the chain's good. But I am fully capable of doing that. But
well, you might like this promo that we have in this discounted product from Rocky Mountain that we have later on. So
it's a big world out there. How do you choose to see it? When the sun burns bright, or when the clouds hang low? Where do you want to be? We see the world through early mornings, late nights, and the long way around. We crave the canyon passes, rocky trails, rutted tracks, and lonely highways. Time spent in the shop, family and friends, the podiums and personal records. We choose it all. If you don't learn, you won't grow. You won't change if you stay still. Life is about moving and feeling. It's about confidence and discomfort, determination and resilience. It's about being connected to the adventure. So be restless. Be fearless. Be curious. Be a conqueror. Because if there's one thing we know, it's this. You're going to see more from here than you ever will from there. We all wonder, but we don't all wander. It's a big world out there. You just need to ride where you belong.
Stay tuned. Hey, speaking of Rocky Mountain, we are stoked to have them as a partner for the show. Really great people. They're out of Utah. They've got 2 huge warehouses on each side. One's in Kentucky, one's in Utah. Obviously, they have fantastic prices, when you go online and all that. But the interesting thing about how they've built their business, Dan, the owner, they started in a little shop, and now it's like they're a retailer, they're a distributor, they're a manufacturer. You go to the building in Utah, you think that you're at like a Parts Unlimited or WPS warehouse. And they just do things the right way. They got a lot of great people that work there, so we're stoked.
The thing that I like about it is it's a company made by riders for riders, and I love their involvement in grassroots racing. That's, if you look at it, they're just all over the place. So to give back from the sport, and then of course they're a professional team with KTM, so that's cool.
Yeah, we got to get a dual sport ride going with Big Ray and the guys. So much fun.
Yeah, I would love to do that. Adventure ride would be fun with Big Ray and everyone from Rocky Mountain, because I had a lot of fun when I did that in Australia. Mm-hmm. That was cool with Danny Sanders. It's a good time. That guy is super talented on the bike way.
Has that video posted yet? On
No,
Fox
I
Racing?
don't think it's coming until March maybe.
Oh, because it's for new product. You used to see the ride they went on, JH and Ricky and the whole crew down in Australia. That was a couple months ago. We watched an edit of the video last week here at the office, and it was one of those where you're like, dude, that's a good time. So, all right. Hey, dude, nobody won. So last week, Ricky throws out to win the Slick product, the RC wash kit giveaway. Ricky said, okay, anybody that can correctly predict Zach Osborne's finishes in the Triple Crown, so it's 3 races that make up the Triple Crown, you get the free RC wash kit. But Zach didn't have a good night, brother.
Yeah, he didn't. I think, it doesn't surprise me no one picked it. And we're going to get to what actually happened to Zach. But since no one won it, we still want to give away a free Slick Products wash kit. And what we're going to do, but you have to submit it by the end of the day today. I want you guys to post to our Twitter account, Talk447. That's at Talk447. And I want you to post the oldest throwback picture you have of myself, or if you think you have a picture of yourself and Fro, post it. In which the oldest one will win the kit, and we'll get that out to you in place of no winner this past week with Zach Osborne finishes in the Triple Crown. So you only have till midnight tonight, and you got to post it, or you could send it to our Jeff's personal Instagram, or DM me on my Instagram at Ricky Carmichael and at Emig47. So.
Yeah, so Osborne goes 22-11-22, but then we find out now that he was disqualified in the final race. What was it for? Leaving the racetrack and coming back?
Yeah, so I believe when he left the track after the red flag, the first red flag in the third main event, and he came back.
Where'd he go?
I don't know. I think he went outside of the stadium and then came back in. Like, from what I heard is, when it was red flagged, he's like, okay, I'm over it. Or he fell.
He fell in that first turn.
Or yeah, before the red flag came out, and then after he found out the red flag had fallen, he's like, oh, dude, I'm coming back in to race. See what I'm saying? I think that's what happened.
So he was done, and then they went, they red flagged it. And he's like, oh, shit, okay. Well, I guess I'll go back.
I think. I haven't talked to Zach, so I don't want to give false information. I can only guess that's what happened. But in the penalty, it says right here that, let's see. Sorry, guys. It says, rider Zach Osborne, set for violation, left for and returned to racetrack. So one could only think that's what happened.
All right,
there you go.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna. You were breaking up then because your Wi-Fi is still crappy.
Oh yeah. So
violation, left stadium floor and return to racetrack, penalty, disqualification. All right.
So everyone, by the way, I'm super bummed. I am plugged directly into Ethernet, and for some reason my laptop here isn't recognizing it. So I'm on this crappy Wi-Fi. Dude, I was so bummed. I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. We're going to be streaming hardcore, no blips. And then I plugged it in and it doesn't recognize it.
Hey, and your audio is a step behind your video too. So, man, that's just how we roll, I guess. We're just real dudes. All right, so let's keep moving. Obviously, the weekend.
I think it's the way you're recording today.
Dude, this is how I record all of it. I don't know. That's what we do. Hey, so let's talk about Supercross. What was the biggest storyline for you from Glendale, you think? Like, what was the most interesting thing? I mean, obviously the podium stuff, yeah, I don't know.
And the 250, I think the biggest thing that we're seeing is not always is the fastest guy winning. Yeah, Austin was awesome the first two, but I don't know if he was the fastest all-around guy. He did what he had to do, and that's what you have, not always does the fastest guy win. So that is what is blowing my mind. Each weekend you look, and then you look at the times. This weekend was a little bit different just because there was 3 different main events. But that's an interesting thing. So I think it's starting to have that feel to me that the most consistent guy is going to win.
Yeah.
Not the fastest guy. So the first guy that can get it made up in their mind and their race strategy that, hey, I'm just going to go out here and second place these guys to death, is probably going to be the one that's victorious at Salt Lake City for the championship. That's my personal opinion.
Well, and Justin Cooper, the points leader, didn't do himself any favors in that first race. So starts are obviously critical, and when you get back in the pack a little bit, you're prone to having other guys run into you. You run into the other guys. Then he compounded it with another fall in race 1, and then he whole shots race 2. I was watching at home. I had ordered some food in. I'm like, cool. He grabs the whole shot. I turned around to walked into the kitchen to grab some food, and when I turned back around, he's not leading anymore, and I'm like, son of a gun.
Yeah, that was just an uncharacteristic move, I think, by Justin Cooper. I mean, you can tell me, Jeff, if I'm wrong, but you don't see mistakes like that with his racecraft very often.
Yeah.
So that was definitely an uncharacteristic move by Cooper, and it costed him. It definitely costed him. He would have. I personally think he would have won that race. The whoops were gnarly. That's one thing that stands out. And I don't know if I'm a believer in the gnarly whoops, just because there's just too much separation, and it has tendencies to take some of our guys down.
Well, Cianciarulo went down pretty hard in there, but I personally thought the track was a bit one line with all, like, I'm not a big fan of those big rhythm sections. It was just rhythm. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't really do anything for me because there's too much consistent speed. Like, you have to go through at a certain speed, so you can't, unless you're going to jump a quad or triple where somebody's doubling or something like that. Once everybody gets the line down, they do the same thing, and so there's two long straightaways where there's no real start stop where you can out accelerate someone because you have to be in the same rhythm. But that's just
and then moving to the 450, I'm going to go ahead on the record right here, Real Talk 447. I believe Ken Roxon has asserted himself as the guy to beat in the 450. So
January 28th, 2020, you're putting a stamp on it that K-Rock's going to take this thing to Vegas.
I don't put words in my mouth. I said that he has become the guy. He has asserted himself as.
I agree. Completely agree.
What do you think?
Yeah, it was good to see Anderson up there. Yeah, for sure. And once any of the guys,
I think he got robbed. I think Anderson got robbed on that third and final main. I think he had a really good shot to win that race, but coulda, shoulda, woulda. It was disappointing to see Chris Bloss fall down. Hopefully he's okay. I mean, he hit so hard in the whoops. He bounced back. Like, he hit the up ramp of one of the whoops. He hit so hard that he bounced, like he rebounded off the ground. And that didn't feel good. So hopefully he's okay. But, yeah, I think that perhaps Anderson was robbed of a main event win. And he's there. He's quiet. He's quietly there. I think he's in a good spot. He's an underdog. He loves being in that position. I think he's a little off on speed right now. I think he even made mention of that. But he knows that he needs to be up there, and he feels that he can learn that speed and make the gains that he needs to if he can just run with those boys early on in the race.
So he's only 14 points down right now, 78 to 92, correct? Yeah.
Yep.
So 14, that's not bad. After all the racing and
no,
there's been a 5-3, 5-3. Roxon went 6-1, 2-1.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, would you agree? I mean, I want to hear what you have to say, dude. Like, give your analysis on it.
I just think that we're still in that sort of positioning mode, right? And before we really head out of the West Coast and get back east, I think there's still going to be a lot of jockeying around. I'm going to skip forward here, but we do the RM Fantasy each week with our fantasy group, right?
Yep.
So if you go into rmfantasysx.com and search groups, Real Talk 447 groups, so that's the one that I play. Obviously, you can win all kinds of prizes and whatnot. So I went with, my top 5 were Cianciarillo, Roxon, Tomac, Webb, Anderson. That's what I have for my top 5. And the wild card was 7th, so I went with Malcolm Stewart on that. In the end, I think we have a couple hundred people in our group, and I was ranked 170. I got 70 points. Yeah, not so good. So number 170 out of, I think, 200. But I did notice that there was a name on there by a guy playing by the name of Harvey Mushman. You ever heard of him?
Yeah.
That's JH, right?
Old Harvey was in.
That's JH. So JH was ranked number 173 at 61 points. So I whooped his ass.
Wow. Oh, he'll blame me. He says he blamed me. He says I should have stuck with what I had and what I wanted to go with.
Oh,
I
so
should have never listened. I'm like, well, why'd you listen to me in the first place?
So is he that easily influenced by you?
Yeah, clearly he's I don't know. He's just, God bless him. I mean, what can you say about him? I was going to say something, but I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
All right. Well, this week for the rmfantasysx.com, pick the top 5 in the 450 class, and then this week the wild card is 13th. So get on there, play in our group, the Real Talk 447 group, and win some cool prizes. Yeah,
that's a lot of fun, by the way.
Why don't you join the group?
I'm going to this week, and so you can brag about beating me.
Well, I know we're gonna have to walk you through how it's done, but you head over to rmfantasysx.com, create an account, then go to browse groups, search Real Talk 447, pull up the group, and then you can join, and that's how you do it. So yep. I'm sure I'm going to have to call you, and it's going to be a whole ordeal. It's probably take 30 minutes to get you logged on.
Stop it. Hey, in other news, what a crappy day Sunday, huh, man?
Yeah, that was the news of the helicopter crash and Kobe Bryant and the other passengers passing away in that accident was pretty gnarly. I mean, and now the reports come out, and even the sheriff's helicopters were grounded that morning, yet they still tried to fly from Orange County up to Calabasas. I mean, you just wonder, like, well, how did that happen, right? Like, why would they fly through that? So I don't know. Maybe in the coming weeks we'll learn a little more about that. But pretty tragic for everyone on board. That's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, that guy's like, that's, it's like he's like Superman, dude. That doesn't happen to Superman. It's just, you would never expect something like that to happen to an iconic figure like Kobe Bryant. And I just, his accomplishments in the NBA was, some things will never be touched, but who he was as a person, as a father, that's what really touched me, and that made him even more special of a person. My heart is with his family. I mean, I woke up yesterday morning, and it just still didn't. I'm like, man, this doesn't even seem like it's real.
Yeah.
So,
and you see now what sort of reach an athlete like Kobe had on the world, and how it's just so interesting. Like, so he was a basketball player. He was a really good basketball player, right? But what these sports stars can mean to people, and the memories that they have, and I don't know. I haven't put it all together, but it's pretty interesting that an athlete like that, especially in a team sport, can touch so many people's lives and affect them in a way that when something like this happens, I mean, it's just devastating, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like it's just L.A. or just Laker fans. I mean, this is all over the world, you know? So,
yeah.
I did a bunch of research on him and just, you know, trying to understand what his how he touched people that way. Like, how did he and the guy was pretty damn driven. I mean, and so on our rundown here, he had these 10 rules for success, and they vary just a tad bit depending on where you're going to look at them. But I thought it'd be cool to go over this, Ricky, if you would. So, the first rule for Kobe's rule for success was to follow your passion.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta, and he's right. If moto is your passion, and our listeners, our watchers, I mean, follow it. If you believe that you can make it, then work your hardest, and never let anybody tell you that you can't do it. You have to make that decision, and follow it. I mean, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be riding. It could be schoolwork, whatever it might be. But I mean, yeah, follow it, man. You get up in the morning, and when you wake up, you think, how can I be better than I was yesterday?
Yeah, right. Do what you love. You never work a day in your life, whatever that is. So, his second one is to find mentors. Why do you think that's important?
Well, I think that's important because, I mean, you are a product of your environment, and you are who you associate yourself with. And I feel like if you associate yourself with winners, you have a good shot of being a winner as well. And if you know, you are a product of your environment a lot of times.
Here's one thing that for I would say the last decade or so, probably since I retired from racing, is that I didn't quite understand. But the third rule for success from Kobe Bryant is don't fear failure. And I think that after I retired from racing, really didn't do much for like 5 years, and then decided, hey, I want to get busy doing things. And the first failure or two really had me thinking, maybe that's just who I am. And I think it's taken me probably a decade to really grasp what that means and to be okay with failing.
Yeah, what I take from this is, you know, there are times when you're not going to achieve your goal and what you set out to do, but you can't. I think what some of this is what he was trying to get through to people is you can't let that affect you. And you know, if you get beat in a race, or you get beat in a game, or whatever your sport is, or whatever you do, but don't let that, you know, don't let it affect you, you know. So don't fear failure. If you get beat, you get up and you go and you try again. You know what I mean? Like, I used to be scared. I used to race scared. I was scared to death that somebody was going to beat me. I'm like, oh man, I hope this is the day that I hope this isn't the day that someone beats me. But I wasn't scared. I wasn't in fear of it. I was just hoping that wasn't the case. Mm-hmm. And I believe that's what I get from this. And you know, it's not that I'm fearing of getting beat. I just don't really want it to happen. So, and that's what he's saying. And then if you do, then you know, if you get beat, you get up, put your helmet on, put your shoes on, whatever it might be, and you go on and get after it.
And the fourth one is to have patience. Fifth one is to learn from your failures. I think you could go 3, 4, and 5, and if you applied that to Ken Roczen and you think about what he's gone through in the last, has it been 3 years now? Right?
Yeah, 3 years. Yep.
Wow. I mean, for him to now be back on top of Supercross and all the adversity that he has been through physically, where I, for one, was when I talked to my orthopedic surgeon about what I knew about Ken's first elbow injury, and he was like, man, cadaver, cartilage, and all this sort of stuff. He's like, especially with what a supercross, motocross racer goes through physically, he's like, I don't know if that's going to be something that he's even going to be able to recover from, and at least not be able to perform at the highest level. And so Ken certainly has shown a lot of patience. It seems like he's learned from his failures now. And then number 6 is focus on winning. And certainly Ken is in that mindset right now. I mean, his goal, his life, everything, he wants to be Supercross champion. He's never achieved that. So he's off to a good start so far this season.
He sure is. Number 7, and the first guy that comes to mind, and Kobe's rule for success, 7th, is love what you do. And I think we all could say that if there's one guy that's having the most fun on the circuit, even though he's not winning, and that's Jason Anderson. I really, truly believe that he loves going to the track. He loves going to the races, and he makes it a fun time, whether it's whatever city he's in, whatever racetrack he goes to, his crew that he travels with, the Team Fried guys. I mean, they make the best. They make the best of makes the best of the weekend. I think that, myself, that comes with a downfall. Like there's a sacrifice that comes with having a little too much fun. But he loves what he does, and the sacrifice is maybe instead of getting at winning, he gets second. But anyhow,
were there times that you came to the races where you weren't having fun?
Of course, yeah, more times than not.
Interesting.
How about you?
Yeah, they're definitely in the probably around 94, 93, 90, probably 94 was a season that I wasn't really enjoying what I was doing. And I was struggling in Supercross. I got bumped up to the premier class before I was ready. Just wasn't really jiving with the bike. My 125 motocross racing was good, but I failed to win the title in 93, and 94 was just struggle city all around. And you know what was interesting is around that time is when I met my dear friend Sonny Garcia and a bunch of the pro surfers. Signed a deal with Arnett, sunglasses, and then eventually goggles. And so I spent a lot of time with these surf guys that were champions in their sport, and they were super amped on what I was doing. And at that point, I was kind of burned out, right? I wasn't really having fun. And then their enthusiasm kind of made me think, wow, okay, maybe what I do is pretty cool. Maybe I do have something here. So I kind of had a bit of an attitude adjustment because of that. Mike Parsons and Sonny and just, man, all the guys, it just kind of reinvigorated me. And then about 95, things started getting better. But yeah, around 94, I wasn't in a very good place. So rule number 8 is to elevate others. If you're leading a basketball team, that's a pretty important thing to do, right?
Well, it is, and I feel like that's what I always tried to do amongst my inner team. With all the teams that I rode for, especially later on in my years, and my tenure at Kawasaki, and then Honda, and then Suzuki, is I always tried to rally around my team guys, whether it was suspension guys, engine guys, electronics guys, all the guys on the team. I tried to have my own personal relationship with, and some with some guys it was basketball, with some guys we had football in common, whatever that might have been, cycling, training, whatever. And when you would spend time with them, make them feel like they are a part of the team and they are a part of the reason why you're winning, it makes them feel comfortable, it gives them confidence, and at the end of the day, it helps you as well.
Yeah.
And so you try to empower everyone that you're working with for one common goal, and that's to be winners. And I think it really resonated with all the guys that I worked with. I would say majority of them. So that's the thing, and especially in team sports, that's super important. You have to have the support of your teammates, most importantly, and then the coaches as well.
Hey, so side story. So when I had my race team in 2001, we were back on Cowie. So I had Michael Byrne and Casey Johnson racing. Billy Phelps was working on Byrner's bikes. Sean Ulikowski was working on Casey's. Tim Dixon was running the team along with Strangio and a couple other guys. So
what were you doing?
I was the leader. I was leading the team. I was
like the GM.
I didn't do a lot of the work. Okay.
I'm
full disclosure,
I'm sure that's the case. Yeah.
No, but so they started this thing, and I don't know who started it, but before the guys would go down for the main event, Dixon would get everybody in the rig. They would close the doors, and they'd put on Renegades of Funk, Rage Against the Machine, Renegades of Funk, and I don't know if you know the song. And the whole group were in there. It was like a tribal type thing. And like we were all kind of rocking out. And then like when it was like, all right, you guys ready? And then we'd pop the doors open, and they'd go down for the main event. So we had a great team atmosphere. I'm not sure Michael Byrne does that as a team manager on the Rocky Mountain KTM team nowadays, but it sure was fun, and that brought us all together.
Yeah, that's Strategic 3.
Strategic 3 Motorsports, yep. Now defunct. All right, so Kobe Bryant's ninth rule for success is protect your dreams. Protect your dreams. What does that mean? I mean, what do you think?
That's pretty deep. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, Jeff, is if your dream is to be a champion in any sport, protecting that, I guess it's surrounding yourself with good people, almost finding mentors, because in a way, if you have good people around you and they have the same goal in mind as you and they want to enable you to be the best that you can be, that's somewhat protecting your dream, right?
Yeah, and it's also about waking up each day and looking at your vision board, if you will, whether it's an actual physical thing or your mental thing. Like, okay, so what are my goals? What do I want to achieve in life? What do I want to have in life? Whatever it is that drives you, and going, okay, what am I going to do today to get me closer to that? And I feel like the protect your dreams is not letting other outside influences distract you from that. And the greatest, I had way too many distractions throughout my career.
What? You did?
Yeah, and
like
I think
what?
that if I had constantly been focused on that each day, trying to make yourself better each day, and that's the thing that all this stuff I've watched with Kobe is a guy was in constant pursuit of greatness and making himself better, right? Every now and then, right, you got to take a break, take a vacation, blow off some steam or whatever, but it seemed like that he was pretty focused on that and protect, like, what's his dream, what's his goal, and fortunately for him, I think he was able to do that, and I'm sure he had, obviously a beautiful family and, a lot more life to live, but up to that point, he certainly had protected his dreams. All right, go for number 10 then, Ricky.
Yeah, the last one for Kobe's rule of 10 rules for success is learn from the best. And this kind of goes back to you are who you associate yourself with. And I most certainly would want to learn from the best. I look back at my career, and I had a lot of great mentors behind me. Johnny O'Mara, he was a winner at the elite level. Fro, you gave me incredible advice. You're at the elite level.
Well, I gave you a good example of what not to do a lot of times. So that
it's just hey, that's a learning lesson. So I learned from the best. But no,
I feel like I
Champions-
missed it on that.
Champions have and winners have a different way of looking at things and their approach, and they're just one of a kind people, in my opinion. And every multi-time champion that I know, and Jeff, you could attest to this, I think that each one of them had their own unique way of life and how they approach things, and they're just they are willing to do anything possible and take no shortcuts to do that.
Yeah. I feel like that learn from the best. I always, for some reason, I felt like I only wanted to do it my way, and I wasn't always open to the mentor side of things. And I look back through my career, there definitely were guys that were reaching out, whether it's stuff on the personal level or whether it's, professional writing, stuff like that. I kind of wanted to do my own thing. And if I look back, if there was, I probably would have been better off if I was more open-minded with that, to take advantage of some of the help that people were offering. So.
Yeah, I mean, but it's different now, Jeff, I believe. I think that writers are more inclined to having mentors, where in your day, in your heyday, it really wasn't like that. I mean, I had Johnny O, but I'm trying to think of guys back in that day, like that was 97 when they first started working together, but that really wasn't common back then if you think about it.
No, not really. I mean, I remember Jeremy McGrath started training with Gary Simix, who had some success on the professional level, a couple decades before that. But during our time, I mean, hell, even our buddy Jeff Stanton, he just rode up at his farm in Michigan and just did his own thing. And you know what was interesting, now that I think about it, is that Keith McCarty, when I was on Yamaha from 91 to 95.
Keith McCarty was the team manager of Factory Yamaha.
Yeah. He came from the Bob Hanna school of, way of thinking.
Hard knocks, if you will.
Well, yeah, and if I remember correctly, Bob was around at times, but we didn't jive personality-wise. I wasn't that wasn't my guy. That wasn't the mentor that fit with me. But I see that Keith wanted something like that to happen because he had Bob around, Damon Bradshaw, Doug Dubach, myself. I just don't think that our personalities clash, and I don't think that really will work for me. But I see the point. And other than that, I mean, I remember Jimmy Weinert reaching out to me and going, "Hey, man, you got to calm down a little bit on this lifestyle choices." And it's like, okay, yeah, cool, man, but didn't want to listen. And so, I mean, I learned a lot of hard lessons, let's put it that way. But fortunately, I got it done every now and then, so that was that. So you want to wrap it up here? You have any other thoughts on Kobe and
Yeah, I already said what I needed to say. Just still a surreal moment, but a living icon, a legend. The impact he had outside of basketball, that's, you're doing something and you're a special person when you can make that impact on people's lives and their well-being and influence them to be a better person each and every day. That's something special, man. And it's just really sad.
And what's interesting, what's kind of hit me is it's not like he didn't stumble at times in life and have situations that weren't good, but it also shows the forgiveness that people, not just fans, but that people have, that we all make mistakes, we all every now and then do things that aren't good, and that if you can find a way to make amends for your wrongdoings and change your life and do good and create new things and treat people good, then people will forgive you for that. So I think that's something that to me has kind of stood out with this whole situation this last few days also.
Yeah.
So
hey, switching gears, I wanted to. Did you have a chance to watch the post-race press conference?
I did not.
When they were interviewing Eli, he looked pissed, dude. Like, sometimes like you'll get a chuckle out of him, and when he's explaining something, it's kind of funny sometimes. Like I like it, but he looked like not happy at all. And I wanted to ask you this. Do you think when he got second on the first main event, when he made a push towards Ken, got all over him, didn't pass him, and then Ken inched away just a little bit. And when I say a little bit, I'm, a second and a half, which doesn't seem like much, but in Supercross, it's a lot, in a short race. He still got the best of Eli. Do you think that messed Eli up mentally?
It's probably frustrating because the soil that they make the track out of in Glendale, they try to put a ton of water into it, but if you've seen by the 3 races that made up the main event, the track was pretty slippery, and you could push and push, but it's so slippery that you can't go to that next level like I think Eli has that ability to. And when he lost track position, you can't make that up. So I think he was probably frustrated that he knew that you could only go so fast that night, and by losing track position off the starts, he was going to have to settle for second.
Yeah, okay. But you didn't answer my question.
I didn't?
Not really.
Okay, what was it? Okay, repeat the question.
Do you think it affected him mentally? Like, like, man, like, I got beat straight up. Like, can I beat this dude?
Oh, probably. I mean, Ken's won 2 in a row now, and
I just saw like that. Like, I always love his little, like, he always has some fun little comments and stuff when people are asking him questions, and he has a fun side to him, and he just was like, yeah, just pissed, it looked like to me.
Well, I seen him Sunday morning. He was walking into Stater Brothers, and he looked fine. Hey, so going to go to the Supercross research department now. Saturday night. Why do you hating on the research every week? There are at least 2 fans out there. Yeah. No, because it's interesting. I think it's interesting. So you can do what you got to do right now. Anybody wants to go get a drink.
I'm actually texting my kid's tutor right now. So.
Okay, so Saturday night in Glendale. Can I do this? Saturday night in Glendale, Ken Roczen became the first rider to win for a second time in 2020, winning all 3 races to sweep the Triple Crown and extend his points lead. So 1st to 2. In the history of the Premier Class, the first rider to win twice went on to become the Supercross champion 27 times out of the first 46 years of the championship. So 58.7%, and actually one year there wasn't a 2-time winner, but so about 60% of the time. Cooper Webb did so last year, winning round 3 at Anaheim and round 4 at Oakland. The first 2 of his 7 wins in 2019 as he won his first 450 championship. From 2003 to 2014, in that 12-year period, the first rider to win twice won the championship every single year. So 12 years straight, 1st to 2, you won it. But before that, from 97 to 2002, the first rider to 2 wins only won the title once, and that was McGrath in 2000, who won his 7th championship. Thoughts on that? None? Okay, you're still texting. Roczen's.
No, I'm not. I'm sitting here looking at the numbers.
So Roczen's 13th career win comes in his 77th career start, and the victory was also the 214th for Honda out of 678 total Premier Class races run. Wow. The most by any manufacturer. The victory also moves Roczen past David Bailey and Ezra Lusk into sole possession of 16th place on the all-time wins list.
Yeah.
Thank you, Supercross Research Department. What do you think about that first to 2 and first to 3, those sort of percentages?
I mean,
they
have some relevancy for sure. It just, I go back. I'm contradicting myself here because I'm going to go back to. I feel like Ken Roczen definitely has asserted himself to be the guy to beat in the 450 class. However, we are still in that stage of what's happening. Like who. We don't know everyone's mark. I think this weekend is going to be a good test for Cooper Webb. There's only one set of whoops. It's a really short set. That was his Achilles heel. He is really suffering in the whoop section. And, he has got to win this weekend. So
Webb, there's an urgency. He needs to win.
Yeah. He still has time, but you don't want to get too far behind, especially with a guy like Ken Roczen or Tomac in front of you. So he's got to win. But it will be a really true telling sign to me if it's all the whoops where he's losing the time. He got passed by so many people this week in the whoops. The one main event he got passed three times minimum. Remember that?
Yeah, there's blow right past him.
I think he's better than he's definitely better than he was the first 3 rounds or 2 rounds. So the sickness is gone, but he's just missing something. He's not that guy, and if he can't win with a short set of whoops, and that's his only problem, I think he's in a real tough spot.
Yeah, but so check this out. Webb's main event finishes 3-12-3-4. It feels worse than that. That 12th left a lasting impression on me, and I looked at it right here. I'm going, wait, did I print the right thing here? Because I'm going 3-12-3-4.
Yeah,
outside that 12.
The thing is, it's like, dude, he rode like crap this week. For a guy like that, he was off the pace, but and his finishes weren't that good this weekend, but he still managed 4th. You know what I mean? So like think about it. All I can think of is him getting passed this week.
Okay, so most of the time, historically, the track in Oakland is going to be pretty soft and loosen up. When it does that, the whoops get super rutted. Most of the time, you jump through them. So he may go from a really tough track with the whoop sections being, last week was a pretty legit whoop section. They didn't really move that much either. Pretty hard to skim them with any speed, to go to a place where if they're jumpers, it's like it's game on. I remember that was my deal. If they were gnarly, super peak, big whoops that you had to skim, I was like, oh shit, J-Bone, gonna be a rough night. Like that's just already psyched out. But if they were whoops that you were gonna jump through, if they got super rutted, I was like, hey, it's on, we can win this.
Yeah, I was the same way, like you. I loved jumping through whoops. Like we go to St. Louis, Atlanta, Indy, sometimes Detroit. It was like, oh yeah, game on. Same as you, Fro.
Hey, so you remember the tracks that when the Mickey Thompson Entertainment Group had part of the Supercross Championship? Okay, so there were 3 promoters. The West Brothers, Pace, Gary, and everybody, whatever the name of the company would have been at the time. And then the West Coast were all Mickey Thompson Entertainment Group. So John Kitchens was the guy who built and designed the tracks on the West Coast. We go to the Rose Bowl one year, and they had these you come out of like the double berm stuff. John was famous for the double berms. He had an inside, outside. So they had these like staggered whoops, right? So you could like jump from gap to gap to gap.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Then at the end, they had this super steep single. So it was like whoop, whoop, whoop. Well, I sat there and looked at it and looked at it and looked at it. And, McGrath was, he had crushed everybody in 93 that year. He actually won the title that night. So I thought, okay, if I go jump here, jump here, jump here, I can go from a whoop and jump over this single. So I saved it and did it in the heat race. And if I remember correctly, I think I won my heat race, and I was like, I got him tonight. I got him tonight. Well, as he would do, McGrath goes out, gets the start. I think I was a couple of positions back. My line that I created, a couple guys then jumped it. My line in the main event, I don't know, it was probably like 5 laps in. I go to do it, get a little too much throttle, jump over the single. Dude, looped it out. Looped it out. Like,
dude.
Totally, just blew it. Just blew it. I was so pissed. I'm gonna see if I can find that.
Yeah, pull that
Find
up.
that on
That'd be funny. That'd be
somebody. I don't know who always pulls up the videos, but if you guys listen to this, pull up a clip and have. I don't know how people clip the YouTube stuff, but anyway, go on and tag us on Twitter at Talk447. That'd be cool to see. I don't know if they have the footage of it, but I mean, I was like 5th, so chances are the cameras weren't on me. But anyway.
Hey, did you ever get to race in the San Jose? I was going to say the Bay Area.
Yeah, San Jose. I won the 125 class there. 91. I won the 125, so I believe I won my heat and the main. And then that was the night that Doug Dubach won the 250 main, which is the 450 class. Bradshaw started last, came through the entire field, and going up to the finish line, it was like this gnarly set of whoops and then a finish line. And Bradshaw literally like pulls up right next to Dubach, and Dubach gets him by, a foot and wins his only premier class main event ever. So Dubach was first, Bradshaw was second, and then I won the 125 that night. So at Team Yamaha, we just crushed it. We had a good night. That was cool.
That's awesome.
Spartan Stadium.
Yeah.
I remember the sun was always in your eyes there during the second practice. I don't know.
Really?
That's how I remember. Yeah.
I think one of my races that I remember in the Bay Area was that time it was, and I didn't even win. It was so muddy at San Francisco, and me and Stu were absolutely going for it in the mud. I think we lapped up to second or third. I think Nick Way maybe got third that night.
I don't know. There was a bunch of them. That stadium at AT&T Park was really cool, right there on the bay, and it was a pretty cool place.
Yeah, it had a good vibe. It's such a good vibe, good feel. I loved racing there. But one always comes to mind.
What about Oakland, Alameda County, which is like the oldest stadium on the circuit?
Dude, that it's old. I don't want to talk about it because it might be some people's favorite place to go, but yeah, it needs a little love. It needs a little love.
Like Bradshaw used to say, he's like, what can we do to fix the track? Hang a close sign on the front gate. But it's great, doubt. Man. The great thing, though, about that, so there's the difference between, and this is why Feld has taken Supercross from a really expensive stadium to rent, AT&T Park. There was no place for a pit party, a lot of walking involved, no place to park, like the whole tailgate scene isn't there. But if you go to Oakland to Supercross this weekend, it's got all that room, people, bringing their toy haulers and trucks, and so they have the whole tailgate party going, and of course the pit party is always rocking there. They got a lot of room for that, so that's why it's there.
Remember, for the Rocky Mountain giveaway, for the Slick Products giveaway for the Ricky Carmichael wash kit, remember we're going to do your oldest picture you got with yourself and me, or yourself and Fro, and send it to @Talk447 on Twitter, or you can send it to Jeff's personal Instagram or my personal Instagram. You got to get it submitted today by midnight, otherwise you will not win. We're looking forward to it. That's going to be a lot of fun, man. I can't wait to see that. We're dating ourselves, so
oh man,
yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So Slick Products, you guys know about it. 3-step process. You got the off-road wash, then the degreaser, and then the multi-surface shine and protecting. You know Jimmy Keys?
Oh yeah.
He loves that shine and protect it, dude. He's
Puts
like
his on his UTVs.
He's like putting his on his UTVs. Yeah, he loves it. He's like, oh, dude, this stuff's the best.
Jimmy.
He's one of a kind, isn't he?
He is definitely one of a kind. They broke the mold.
Mullet man.
Still running it.
Oh yeah, even his, the emoji thing, like those emojis.
Yeah.
He's got the mullet on the emoji. It's pretty good.
If you know him, you know him. Hey, so we do have that RockyMountainATVMC.com promo. So this week, the item that's been heavily, heavily discounted, and I tell you, mechanics, we're going to like this, is the Tusk T-handle wrench set. So if you're in the market for a set of T-handles, Rocky Mountain has marked them down to $9.99 if you use the offer code 447TWS. Offer code 447TWS. So go on RockyMountainATVMC.com. Look for the Tusk T-handle wrench set. Obviously, limit 2 per person. And the promo will run for 2 days, 48 hours after the podcast. So.
Yep. Dude, are you excited to come out for the Goat Farm Spring Prep Camp?
Yeah, it'd be good. I just booked my ticket yesterday, so I'm going to go to Atlanta. I'll catch up with you guys in Atlanta, and
just ride home.
Can I get a ride back to Tally with you guys?
Yeah, you didn't hose me. You probably bought a first class ticket, huh?
No, I did look at it, but yeah, it was like $400 difference.
I owe you though, huh?
It's like dude,
Do I owe you?
Do you owe me? Do you owe me? Yeah, you owe me big time when it comes to flights. No, it's good. So,
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to come to Atlanta, check it out. And then the next week, we've got the spring national prep at the Goat Farm. You know what? I need to get a bike going. I need to get my bike set down there.
You want to ride my Suzuki?
No, I don't ride 450s anymore. The 150s. So I'm going to send my bike. So I have my bike.
Said that
I'll just crate
last
it.
year.
No.
I wish
Wasn't I
Sam
hurt
was
last
coming
year?
this year.
Wasn't I hurt last year?
Yeah, you were hurt.
Something. I don't know. Yeah, Sam Jones, our buddy, we did episode of Real Talk with him last year. So he's a photographer, writer, producer, director, real creative type. He comes down, and so with this spring national prep at Ricky's farm, it's like 3 days, a lot of riding. We busted into a couple different groups. Well, Sam, he's a vet rider. He's 50 years old. And he's paired up with some of your top amateur kids that are down there, and I could tell that fatigue was setting in early, and we're he was super stoked on going down there and learning about riding, but once he was there was this one turn he fell down like 4 times, and the problem is he's riding one of your bikes, right? And the RMZ still doesn't have an electric start. So once he was already fatigued, he's already like cooked, right? Day 3, and then he falls down, so has to start the bike again. It was God bless him though, Sam. You
tried. You were a whoop
buddy.
puppy dog though, dude. I felt so bad for you. He's like, man, I don't know if I want to ride today on that last day.
Well, yeah, because all these other kids and everybody that are there, right? These amateur kids, they're doing what they got to do. End of the day, resting, all this. Well, he stays up drinking wine with us, and then he has to go ride the next day. So
yeah,
I'm gonna keep it on the straight and narrow this trip because I want to have a good riding session. I got to make up for when I over jumped that biggest jump on the track by a mile and blew my shoulder out. Right. So.
All right.
The Goat Farm owes me one, so anybody wants to come on down, where do they go to find out information about that?
RickyCarmichael.com.
It's got a nice ring to it.
Right.
So you've been attending and supporting a bunch of the Supercross Futures, right? Then you have the RCSX at Daytona, which essentially is the Futures version, but it's at Daytona International Speedway. Talk about that just for a second and how that program has been this year.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic what the Futures what they do and what it brings. I applaud Feld for doing that, exposing these youngsters into Supercross. I think it's really important that they get that feel, so they have somewhat of an idea as they graduate on to someday Monster Energy Supercross. And I think it's great that they provide a place to race just for regular people like, vets or guys that have no aspirations of maybe someday going to Monster Energy Supercross, just a place to race. So I think it's great. I think it's growing. It's cool to see. I think it'll help business, motorcycle business, put riders, sell more motorcycles. It's key, man. So I applaud them without a doubt.
And Daytona this year, which is coming up in about a month, maybe something like that.
Yeah, like the beginning of March. 50th running of the Daytona Supercross. And then, of course, the Ricky Carmichael Amateur Supercross on Sunday and Monday after the pro event. It is one of the majors, amateur majors, the biggest amateur supercross race in the world. We're excited about it. You guys can sign up for that. It's just so much fun. And, you think about Daytona, and Jeff, you know what it's like to be there. It's the world center of racing.
Yeah, definitely. Well, also this weekend coming up is Super Bowl. My Kansas City Chiefs are in. Where are you at? You Niners or Chiefs on this deal?
Well, Caden, he says that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to pull the upset and win, so I'm going to go with him.
Are they not favored?
Oh, I don't know. I have no clue.
I think the Chiefs are favored, if I remember correctly.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are they? Honestly, I'd like the Chiefs to win just so we don't have to listen to our buddy Ralph gloat for the next year.
Well, wait. So Ralph's a Niners fan this week? Or is he... No, when the Panthers were kicking ass and Cam Newton was killing it, he was a Panthers fan. But now he's a Niners fan. He likes to have options, right? Just like it's like, are you an Oakland A's fan or are you a San Francisco Giants fan? It really, for Ralph, it depends on where the rankings are.
Yeah, well, it's like the
hedging his bets there.
It's like the Oakland A's and the Giants, San Francisco Giants. It's just so.
Yeah. Oh, I got to get a bet going with him. So I got to get something going. So anybody that's listening, I am now taking bets because I am all in on the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, and so you can hit us up on @Talk447. My personal Instagram, all that stuff. Let's get it going.
Yes, for sure. All right, dude.
That's it. That was a good show.
That's a wrap, man. Yeah, it was fun. That was good. Hopefully everybody liked it.
Yeah, thanks to all of our listeners around the world. Thanks to everybody for tuning in and watching on the Fox Racing YouTube channel or listening here on your favorite podcast sites. Also, our great sponsors. That does not even look like you at all. Dude, I don't even... You guys think that looks like Ricky? No.
Come on.
Not even close. We gotta send out your little Bitmoji thing too. Is it called a Bitmoji or whatever it's called when you create your own little avatar thing? We'll get that out. Hey, we've got great people that are supporting the show. Obviously, Rocky Mountain ATV MC, Slick Products, ODI grips, specifically the Emig Pro grips and the RC4 handlebar bends. So check them out. Special thanks always to Fox Racing for hosting Real Talk here at Fox headquarters and handling the production on everything. So if you like the show, hit like, subscribe, leave the comments. Hey, did you go on YouTube and look at any comments? You need to get on there and you actually have a fan or two on there. So
don't
you probably
boss me
should
around,
hit them back.
dude.
You should hit them back.
Have you ever thought of maybe asking me instead of telling me?
No, I'm like the co-producer right now.
Okay. All right, I'll go down there.
You have a responsibility to your fans. Hey, you can also get a personal shout out from Ricky Carmichael if you go on cameo.com.
That's right.
We need to get some business going. Yeah, baby. All right. So I'm going Chiefs. You're going Chiefs also. Good luck to my Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Thanks, everybody, for listening and watching. As always, Andrew McKeag Band's going to take us away with This Old Lie. See you guys.